So today I'm working on an 11x8 canvas. I've sanded it, the background, so it's a nice smooth surface. It is gessoed, so I'll give it a light sanding. So I'm just using now, as you can see, a nice soft filbert brush. And I'm just blocking him in. I'm using some darker values, like a nice off orange and a burnt umber with some Naples yellow. So I'm just going to get the mid-tones in. So obviously I want to cover the green background up. I enjoy doing cows because they have really cool features. So there you can see a nice burnt orange colour. And now I've swapped to a buff titanium, which you can just mix a little bit of grey if you want, if you haven't got buff titanium. Colours don't have to be exact, as long as you've got your values correct, that's the main thing. So I'm just going a bit lighter there on his chest bit, still using that off-white colour. And once I've blocked it all in, I'll give him a drying off completely before I use my next layer. So there in his ear that I'm doing now, just use some Naples yellow, but you can also use some yellow ochre and a tiny bit of white. I'm just using a nice dark blue just to get his nostrils in and around his mouth. Just straight paint at the moment, no glazing medium. I'll just block his little eyes in, which are dead cute. Just using a little round brush. Just easier to get into the detail bits. Make sure everything's dry before you come back and do the next layer. Now I've just got some glazing medium and I'm just glazing him over. I've let that dry. I'm just coming back in with some orange and a tiny bit of Naples yellow. I'm just filling his face in. Same colour, that Naples yellow with a bit of white and a tint of orange. Doing his fairy bits there. So just building him up gradually. I did do another cow. He were in a field. Poppies. That were really cool. That were a black and white one. Go with this one if you wanted to paint a couple of cows. That'd be cool. I'm still using that Naples yellow, that off-white colour. I'm just loosely putting in my brush strokes, as you can see, with that filbert brush. Just marking in where I want everything, all the mid-tones, where my highlights are going to be. I'm just going back in with some darker burnt umber there, just to get them wrinkles back in on his body, and giving it a bit of a glaze there with some burnt umber. Glazing medium's awesome because it brings all your harsh edges, it takes all them out if you glaze over things as well. Build up in thin layers. It looks really cool, especially when you're doing a close-up portrait of a person or an animal. Remember to let each layer dry before you come back and put your next mid-tone or highlight on, which I have done here. Still going with that orangey colour just to get them features in on his face. And I'm loosely just applying the colour and building it up, like I said, gradually. And now I'm putting some like wrinkled texture in of his skin with that lighter yellow colour again, and leaving all the dark bits. But if you do go over them, you can come back and put them back in. And same again around his face. Like I'm just marking him with my brush. Just some little strokes, that's all it needs. Then you'll see gradually how it builds up. And I'm just softening some edges there, as you can see what I'm doing there on his neck. I don't want too many harsh lines, so just soften some out with a bit of glazing medium or a bit of water. If you haven't got glazing medium, that'll be alright, but don't get your brush too wet. Same thing here on his face, I'm just softly blending in. So I've got some glazing medium on my brush with the pigment to get that nice soft blend that I did on his face. So I've let him all dry off, or you can blow dry him off with a hairdryer, just let him dry naturally. So I'm coming back with some more titanium white, but it's slightly tinted. I haven't got it too bright yet, but I'm just marking in now where my highlighted areas are going to be. Still using a nice loosish brush stroke, but you'll see where I'll soft blend some of the edges and then leave some a bit harsher, like around his ears and there on his neck. Just get his highlights on his little nose. She's cute. Just getting his features on his face there. So let's get to his eyes now and fill his eyes in. Just a nice dark value. You can use black if you like, but I'm just using a really dark blue. Now I'm giving him a nice soft blend here. I've got some glazing medium again on my brush to get them nice soft brush strokes. It's easy when you apply the paint down, you can just blend it with a bit of medium on and give a nice soft edge, like a nice misty glow. Like I say, you can use water. I'm just going in with that orangey colour again, which is really nice for highlights. Mid-tones, then back to that yellow ochre or Naples yellow, whichever you prefer. Don't forget your dark values, like I'm reapplying some umber there, as you can see. Just get them dark values back in. If you do go over things, you can always come back to them. Little highlights in his eyes and his nose. So the brighter you go, you just keep adding a bit more titanium white, so don't go too white too soon. So I'm just using my little round detail brush again, because I just find it easier just to get in and get some little textures going, like there on his ears. Just flick your little brush up and gives that a nice fluffy feel around his ears. An angle brush should be okay as well, I should imagine. I'm just getting a bit more blue down here because the complement's blue and orange, and there's orange in the painting. I thought the blue would look nice. I'm just dry brushing on with a tiny little bit of glazing medium here and there, but most of it's dry brush. I'll let it dry each layer. It gives a nice misty feel to the background. I like it. And a bit of that orange coming through as well. Make sure it's dry because you don't want the orange blending in with the green. You'll just get mud. We don't want mud. Well, not in this instance. That's just a little mop brush I'm using, like a stiff bristle brush. So back to my detail brush. I'm going to get some more detail on now using that white colour, that lighter shade. Make sure I want all these wrinkles to show up. It's like doing horses. On horses you want the muscles to show up, while on cows you want the wrinkles and the fur to show up. You don't have to paint in every brush stroke. We've got his nostrils nice and deep colour, especially on the insides. Then we can just finish off with a few highlights. So if you enjoyed this video, you need to watch the video on screen now.